Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Psychic Gay Boy here at your service, making the universe a better place with positive karmic energy. Let's go. So for all my new viewers out there, look at this picture right now and realize that it is not my intention to bully or harass people online. I just simply state my opinion from the beginning to end, and I like to swear a lot, so don't be a Karen and don't judge. And also, I don't edit like my voice clips or anything like that together. I just talk from the beginning to the end to prove that I'm semi-psychic and to set a good example that this is how people talk in real life. And I like to drink coffee and take sips of coffee here and then. So please do not judge and be in Karen, like I said, and please subscribe if you're interested in my channel. So that being said, this video is going to be talking about Tana Mongeau and Howie Mandel's podcast that they just did 2 days ago, which I had no goddamn idea that she even did a new podcast with Howie, because if you go on YouTube, you'll see all these like gossip channels like Spill Sesh, like all the really, really popular ones. So like Spill Sesh, T Spill, which I think are like the same people, just all the gay guys, like there's just the gay gossip channels, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many people talking about the Jeff and Trisha and Tana podcast. However, nobody is talking about the Howie Mandel podcast. And the reason I figured it out was because I saw like a little clip on YouTube and I was like, it was involving Tana and James Charles, like her opinion on James Charles. And then I was like, whoa, I watched the clip and I was like, no, I got to make a video about this, because literally this has actually been bothering me for the past like month or so. Okay, so they did a podcast, Tana Mongeau. She literally did a podcast with Howie Mandel. And I swear to God, how does Tana get all the energy to do all these podcasts? Like she has her own podcast with Brooke. She had her own podcast with Jeff Wittek. And then she goes on all these other podcasts with like Trisha Paytas and like now Howie Mandel and like so much others. Like where does she get all this energy from? Because I'm not gonna lie, I finished watching the whole thing. This was the most boring goddamn podcast I've ever seen in my life. Like Howie Mandel, I just don't like him. I'm so sorry if I sound like rude. It's just my honest opinion. I feel like someone who's like a host of like No Deal or No Deal and like America's Got Talent and stuff like that, you should leave like the podcast world to like new and up and coming people like myself or like even other people on YouTube, because you know you've already had like fame and success. You're like, he said in his podcast he was in his 60s, but like bro, like it reminds me of Joe Rogan as well, because like even though I do respect Joe Rogan, I just feel like he shouldn't even have a podcast because he's known to have his own TV show like Fear Factor. Everybody knows him. Like back in the day, he hosted Fear Factor, just like right now. And back in the day, like because America's Got Talent is still out there and thriving, and so is Deal or No Deal, I think. I'm not even sure, but they've been out for a while, and that was the host, like Howie Mandel. So it cringes me out when I see like these A-list like host actors that hosted reality TV shows having their own podcast. Like what's next? The fucking it kind of did happen, because remember how Jeff Probst, the host of Survivor, he actually had his own talk show, but then that got canceled literally after a year, because that's what I'm saying. Like nobody cares about your personality. People just see you as the host of a TV show. So that's why I don't take them serious. And there's so many other people out there that deserve podcasts, like myself and other people on YouTube. So that being said, like Elena Genevieve, she's like this YouTuber. She never ever hosted like her own TV show or anything like that, but she has her own like podcast on YouTube, and it's like it's it's entertaining to watch. So I'd rather watch up and coming new YouTubers rather than like old, has been like TV show hosts that just hosted TV shows like Fear Factor and America's Got Talent. Like nobody cares. And it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, because this is the first time I'm actually watching the Howie Mandel podcast, because this is like, I don't even know how to explain this, but I'm going to try my best. So please bear with me and drink coffee as well if you're drinking coffee with me. So cheers. I'm going to take a sip. Okay. So basically, Ethan Klein, you guys know who Ethan Klein is. He had Tana Mongeau on her podcast like probably 2 to 3 months ago this year. And everybody watched it. It was a pretty popular podcast. And in that podcast, she was saying like she hated James Charles and she wanted nothing to do with him. So this was probably longer. This was probably like 4 to 5 months ago. I'm not sure. So after they aired the podcast then and there, like a month or 2 months later after that podcast, Tana was seen like forgiving James Charles, and they took pictures of them like at Coachella or something like that, wearing matching outfits. And then Tana admitted publicly that her and James Charles are on good terms again and that she forgives him. And then Ethan Klein literally made like a whole segment on one of his podcasts saying that, can you believe Tana Mongeau is friends with James Charles again? Like, that's a fucked up, because he showed a clip of her, and I already covered this on my other YouTube channel. I might post videos about this so you guys can see, but Ethan Klein showed a clip on his podcast where Tana and James were together, and James came over to her house and he gave her some painted products, which is his new makeup line about makeup brushes and stuff. And like Tana was like saying, oh my god, they're so beautiful, blah blah blah, and they were like literally like hugging and getting along. And then Ethan, the motherfucking liar, like, I'm so sorry, like, yes, I do like to swear a lot, but Ethan Klein reminds me of Hitler. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You just can't trust this guy. Like, I don't call every guy Hitler, okay? But like, there are some like certain white guys that do act like Hitler. So I don't think every single like Howie Mandel, like, I don't call him Hitler. Like Joe Rogan, I don't call him Hitler. So please don't think that I'm calling all white guys Hitler. But Ethan Klein reminds me of Hitler so much. I just get this EBGB feeling about him. And like, I feel bad because like he's so popular and I'm like the only one that seems to be hating, because Keemstar used to hate him for so long, but then apparently they're cool now. Like, I don't know like what this guy does to people that makes him cool with them, but I will never be cool with Ethan Klein, because the shit that he's put out on his podcast and if you want to call someone like a bully or harassment on YouTube, that's Ethan Klein. That is not me whatsoever. The only reason why people see me as a bully is because I'm gay and I'm super sassy and I speak the truth and I speak my mind, and you know, people are just homophobic and that's all there is to it. But in the end, I know what I'm talking about. My username is Psychic Gayboy, so please do not like be homophobic towards me or be like, oh, this guy is so sassy, I can't take him serious. Just know, like, I'm like your best friend. I just fight for what's right. I'm like your gay best friend. Like, obviously I'm gonna be sassy, but like, I fight for what's right. And just see me as that, you know, that has like psychic powers. Because literally, like, he said after he showed that clip, Ethan Klein, about Tana and James becoming friends again, like a couple of days later, he made it clear on his podcast, and he did many fucking interviews, and I'm pretty sure he tweeted about it. He said, oh yeah, well, Tana actually messaged me, or she called me, and I actually met her in real life, and yeah, she told me that she's trying to distance herself from James again, and she wants nothing to do with James. So yeah, like, she hates James. Don't worry, guys. Like, she hates James. He was telling his millions and millions and millions of viewers that her and James Charles were like hateful towards each other again, after he came over to her house and gave her his makeup like painted things. So like, it just pisses me off that he lied, because literally in this podcast that Tana did 2 days ago from today, so she basically I watched the whole freaking interview because I was trying to figure out the part where this was happening, and besides this part, the interview was so boring. Howie Mandel and Tana seems to be like not getting along. Like, first of all, I didn't even know that girl was Howie Mandel's daughter. She just seemed like an entitled, like, rich, like, oh, I'm a celebrity daughter, like Hailey Bieber. She reminded me of Hailey Bieber. She had like this stuck up attitude about her, and I don't like her at all. I don't like Howie Mandel. I'm sorry, but they just talked about like boring shit, and the part where they talked about James Charles was literally like at the 80% mark at the end. Like, it was towards the end. So basically, he was talking about Trisha and Paytaz and Ethan Klein. Hold on, another drink of coffee, because this shit was crazy. It just confirms my validation, because I've always didn't believe Ethan Klein. When Ethan Klein was trying to tell his million followers that Tana was like not friends with James again after he visited her and gave her the painted thing, I fucking knew in my fucking mind that this motherfucker was lying. And see, this just proves that I am psychic. So please subscribe if you want justice for the world and if you're a pro LGBT gay boy community or whatever, because my psychic username is psychic gay boy. I'm obviously gay, I'm a guy, and I fight for justice. So subscribe if you believe in me, and just know that I actually am semi-psychic. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I was the only fucking person to say or to think in my head that Ethan Klein is a goddamn Hitler fucking lying piece of shit homophobic asshole, because literally in the whole Howie Mandel podcast he just did with Tana Mongeau 2 days ago, he was talking about, oh yeah, well, what do you feel about like the Trisha and Ethan Klein like podcast? Like that was like huge, and I know that they have beef with each other. And then Tana was saying that she supports Trisha. She didn't really say anything about Ethan. And then basically Howie Mandel brings up James Charles. He's like, oh, well, speaking of problematic people, because they were talking about Trisha and Trisha's problematic past, they're like, oh, Howie Mandel was like, oh, so like, what are your opinion on James Charles? And then at first I was scared because I was like, oh shit, she's going to talk about shit about James Charles. But no, she wasn't, because this is how I figured it out on YouTube. Like, I found this clip and I watched the clip and then I wanted to see more of it, but there was really not much more other than what I saw in the clip. So basically Tana answers and she's like, oh, well, me and him, we're cool now. We're on good terms now. I wouldn't say that we're best friends. And these are her exact words. I am not making this shit up. I will put down the link so you guys can fucking see yourself. And I'll even put in the fucking time frame so you guys don't have to listen to it yourself like I did. Because holy shit, that was like an hour of my life wasted. Howie Mandel was so fucking boring. But anyways, she was saying that, like I said, she was like, I'm just going to be impersonating her. So she's like, and by the way, people say I always like impersonate people really well, so please like refrain yourself from laughing, because I can't help it. I'm just naturally good at this shit. So Tana herself, she was like, yeah, so me and James, I wouldn't say that we're good friends, but yeah, we're acquaintances now. And the thing is, I harbored so much hatred for him for years and years, and we just kept seeing each other for so long at parties and stuff. And every time I would see him, I would just like stop. My eyes would just like be kept glued to him, because I always thought that there was going to be like some fallout between us. So I was always watching him to see what he was doing. But then eventually, as time went on, I just matured and I realized, you know what? I'm too old for this shit. And then basically, that's all she said. So basically, she said her and him are like still friends now. They're not like close friends, but they are acquaintances. Like, she has no ill will feeling towards him. And the last and final thing that she said about him was that like the stuff that he's done, like it's not her business to like vindicate himself. Like, he has to do it on his own, but she's not going to judge him. She's not going to give him any hatred. So basically, she's literally his friend again. And that motherfucker, Ethan Klein, literally fucking lied to millions and millions and millions of his fucking fans and his viewers to try to make poor James Charles, who's literally like a 2 decades younger than him, like an openly young gay man who did nothing wrong. Like, he tried to make up lies to bully him. And for Ethan Klein to be like, I honestly thought Ethan Klein was 50, but he's like only 39 or 37. He's like, dude is aging like so much. I swear to God, I was shocked to find out that he was only like in his late 30s. But the thing is, James Charles is only 23. He's literally like over like, he's like over 15 years or so like older than James. He should know better than to bully a young innocent gay man. And it just goes to show how fucking demonic and gross Ethan Klein really is, because he literally made up a lie saying that Tana told him that she wants nothing to do with James Charles, and he tried to make up a lie to make James Charles look like a creep, when in reality he does nothing to talk about Brandon Cavallero, the freaking 24-year-old straight guy in the vlog spot who in real life dated and admitted that he had sex and fooled around with an underage 17-year-old girl in California where the legal age is actually 18. He didn't say not one word about him. So the fact that he's bullying James Charles, I really do feel like Ethan Klein is an extreme homophobe, and it's disgusting because he's literally like over 15 years older than James. So the fact that he's bullying a young innocent gay man who did nothing wrong online, because nothing that he did was in real life. Real life is different than online. If you want another example of what I'm talking about, go watch my other video because I explained this before. But online is completely different in real life. Real life is way worse. So, and what James did he did nothing wrong. He thought that he was 21 at the time, and he thought that he was talking to an 18-year-old online. So they started texting, and then the 17-year-old sent him pictures of him flexing, and then he admitted that he was underage, like 17, and then James was like, oh, hell no, bye. So therefore, and that was all online. It wasn't real life, whereas Brandon Cavallero, like literally, whatever his name is, had sex with a 17-year-old when he was 24 in real life, which is way, way worse than what James Charles did. And again, watch my other video that I made because I already explained this before, so I'm just quickly explaining it again now, that Ethan Klein is a fucking homophobe, and I'm gonna name this video Ethan Klein, or Psychic Exposes Ethan Klein's Homophobia. And he's like, who the fuck? He reminds me of Hitler. He thinks that he can just badmouth anybody who gets into trouble. So like, he thinks that he is like the judge of YouTube, where like he's perfect and he can do no wrong. And it's just disgusting because like, he's Hitler. Like, who gives Hitler the right to think that he's like judge? Obviously Hitler is like the fucking devil in disguise. You don't want to trust him. You don't want to put him in power. So I'm asking, like, I'm gonna get so much hate because he has such a huge fan base, but this Ethan Klein dude is disgusting, and he needs to be stopped and he needs to be called out. And I really do feel like his channel is probably going to get terminated soon, hopefully, because he actually did get a strike not that long ago from the YouTuber admins, and then that scared him and his team because this guy literally gets like 2 million views per stream, so he's very, very, very like popular, and he streams like every single day, and he's really wealthy. So obviously he had to take a break to think about the stuff that he says, but yet he's still doing it. So I don't understand why the YouTuber admins are still allowing him to have him on their platform. Because what he's doing is he's the definition of cyberbullying and harassing, and he makes up lies about innocent people like James Charles, and he's extremely homophobic. Do you guys not remember the phone call that he did with that guy and he asked him if he was a top and bottom, and he was being really fucking rude and disrespectful, and then when he got called out, he was like, I didn't mean any disrespect. Yes, you did, motherfucker. Like, he put on like this long statement on Twitter saying, oh, it was not my intention, and you know what, I realize how it sounded, and it's gonna, like, I'm never gonna be like that again, I promise. And then he still does the same thing with James Charles and a bunch of other gay stuff like that he just makes fun of. Like, him and his crew, I swear to God, especially Dan, they're all fucking homophobic. As much as they don't want to admit it, they are. And it's just disgusting behavior, and I feel sorry for Gila because the stuff that he says about women, like his support for like prostitution and all that stuff, it's like, Gila, if that was my husband and he was saying that, I would be so fucking embarrassed if I were you, being his wife for like over like 10 years it seems, and then like having like 2 or 3 kids with him, because I know she already had 1 kid, but I think that she got pregnant again with twins or something, so she either has like 2 or 3 kids with him. And the fact that he's saying that he supports prostitution and like all this disgusting like stripper stuff, like, it's just disgusting. Like, I remember the podcast he did with Hassan Nabi, and they were talking about like how they support prostitutes, and it was like, it made me think that he was cheating on Gila with a like disgusting stripper and prostitute, which I wouldn't be shocked. And I just feel sorry for Gila because Gila obviously loves him so much, and she's been with him for over 10 years. But I made videos about how men, and I was watching like true crime stories, and that the next video I do, it might be true crime because, listen, I've been like binge watching true crime so fucking much. That shit, it just fascinates me. And he reminds me of a really bad person in a true crime story, like Ethan Klein. And I feel like, because like there was this one video where I watched like this husband of like 10 or 20 years with this woman, and this is like the second video, because like I need to drink a coffee, 1 second, because there's a lot to explain. And okay, so basically, to finish up this video really fast, I'm gonna name 2 crime stories that I just watched. So I already mentioned one in my other video that I made, but I watched this one that was one of the most popular ones on YouTube. It had 17 million views. It was called The Case of Delilah or something like that. but it was basically about this disgusting like 38-year-old man, and he was an attractive, like, good looking man, and he had a wife of 7 years, and then he ended up cheating on her with a disgusting prostitute or stripper or whatever. And he ended up like leaving his wife, his loyal wife, for over 7 years to be with the disgusting prostitute. And then eventually he got instant karma because the prostitute ended up trying to kill him for his money. And also, like, that's how disgusting men are. Like, that dude reminds me of Ethan Klein. That's the type of guy that I fucking despise in this world, and that I fight against. And also, I watched another true crime, and I forgot how much views it got, but it actually got like a lot of views. And it was about this other man. I think Chris Hansen was the one who was that channel where Chris Hansen is the host. Like, he does like true crimes, and he was talking about like this story where I think it's called Crime Watch Daily or something like that, or True Crime Watch Daily, I don't know. But he was explaining the story where this man had been with like a woman for like 20 years, and then they had like two daughters, and then the daughters were like fully grown, and then he ended up like cheating or leaving his wife, and then he ended up like cheating on or not cheating, but after he left his wife, he went and he had like two like fully grown daughters that I don't even know what the fuck this man was doing. Like, what kind of example is he trying to set? But he literally went to a strip club, and then he was like a wealthy businessman, and he was like elderly as well. He was like in his 40s or 50s, whatever. But like, he was a disgusting dirtbag. Like, he ended up marrying like this young stripper, and then they would like host parties together, him and his stripper girlfriends, and then all their friends would be invited. And then like on top of that, like, he even introduced the stripper girlfriend to like his young daughters, trying to be like, oh my god, this is like your stepmom, are you guys happy? And the daughters did not like her at all, and with not because she was a stripper, because they just felt like she was a bad person. And then on top of that, the stripper ended up, just like the other case that I was talking about, the stripper ended up fucking murdering him. And she like shot him on the head while he was on the phone with his daughters. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but like, that's what you get. Like, men like that are fucking disgusting, and men like that are exactly like Ethan Klein. Like, I don't want someone who has such a huge following to be on YouTube promoting homophobia against James Charles while he like promotes like human sex trafficking, like strippers and prostitutes that's gonna end up fucking killing him or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the true crime type of shit. And I'll link that video below, and because that was really, really fascinating, because the other video I was talking about, like, the prostitute literally tried to kill the first guy I was talking about, but she failed and she got caught, and that's how it was a true crime story. Like, that's how, like, how it got so popular. But then like the second one, it was the same like concept, except this man has been with the girl for like his wife for 20 years and had two daughters, and then he broke up with his wife after 20 years, and then the stripper girlfriend or prostitute girlfriend, whatever, same shit to me, ended up fucking killing him. And then, you know, the daughters, like, in that true crime video, they were like still defending their goddamn dad, knowing, and all the comments were saying how much of a dirtbag the dad was, and the daughter should stop defending them. So yeah, you guys should watch it yourself. You guys will see what I mean. Like, that was a really messed up family right there. But the dad especially was horrible. And like, that's what you get for like hiring a disgusting prostitute or stripper. They're just scammers. They're not good people. And on top of that, why would you waste money on trashy people? At least if you're gonna like leave your wife and be with a girlfriend after a divorce, be with someone off of Tinder, like a regular fucking person with class. Why the fuck do men always want like the trashiest strippers, prostitutes that's been with like the most disgusting men that you can think of, fat old white men with like HIV and shit? Like, men are disgusting and they're stupid. And like, of course not all men are like that. I'm just saying that Ethan Klein reminds me of those type of guys, and I don't want someone like him to have such a huge platform. So therefore, that is why I'm making this video, to call him his homophobia out about James Charles. I think he is a fucking disgusting dirtbag, and I want his platform gone from YouTube. Like, if there is a God, then please allow him to get terminated from YouTube. And I know that I'm not the only person who thinks this. I know he has a lot of people who hate him as well. It's just, this guy has a lot of money, so anybody that gets in his way, he'll hire like the top attorneys, and then he'll always win his case because he always pays the most money. But in the end, like, if you have someone like me who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about and has proof, then no matter how much money he has, you can't run away from the truth. Like Tyler Henry says, who actually knows who I am, and he made me a top fan on Facebook. I'm so happy. He says that, like, if you know better, you should do better, and that you don't have any regrets, because if, like, one thing in life that will never ever go away, that will haunt you forever, is regrets. And men who, like, are homophobic and they pay, like, a lot of money that could be helping their family members out, or like feeding starving kids in Africa, or helping climate change, and they're using that money on trashy scamming prostitutes and strippers and like all types of prostitutes and strippers, like the ones that work at the spas, the ones that you see at the street corners, the strip clubs, whatever. Like, it's all the same shit to me. Like, if you're using that hard-earned money that could be helping so many innocent good people out and saving their lives on trashy fucking prostitutes and strippers like that are like street corners or spas, whatever you want to call it, like, or wherever they are, it's like disgusting behavior that you're going to regret for the rest of your life. And regret is something that you can never ever take away. The regret will always be there. And Tyler Henry, the famous psychic gay medium, says it himself. So I just want to leave it off with that to tell you guys how, like, because I know a lot of people aren't going to take me serious because I am a smaller YouTube channel, but I'm growing more and more, and people are, like, backing me up, and people are loving my personality, and I'm getting more and more subscribers every single day. So please subscribe if you're interested in my personality. And that's all I got to say about this video. It's just to call out Ethan Klein for his disgusting Hitler behavior. And I want this dude, like, deplatformed from YouTube so the world can be a better place, because he's literally making the world a horrible place right now, just like Hitler did. Hence why I called him Hitler. Subscribe if you believe in my psychic abilities, and I love you guys so much. All my loyal subscribers and my new subscribers my new viewers that are loyal to me and believe in me as well. And please subscribe. I'm really trying to reach the 1,000 mark. So I love you guys so goddamn much. Peace out.